Hello, my name is Linzi Sweetin. Today I will be presenting on my social work trajectory. I will be talking about different interviews I have watched and chapters I have read from a book called Days in the Lives of Social Workers. I will also be discussing a few professional goals. First off, I currently have 3 professional goals. The first one is to volunteer at Riverbend Family Ministries. I plan to start doing this by January 2021. Riverbend Family Ministries is an organization that provides resources for smaller nonprofit organizations to work together under one roof, providing families and individuals the tools they need to be self-sufficient. They concentrate their collaborative, holistic efforts on children, youth, and families who've experienced trauma, most often due to violence, addiction, poverty, and homelessness. I have volunteered here in years past during the holiday seasons, but I would like to take a more active role in volunteering and gain experience working with different population groups. I plan to talk with the leadership there to see in what ways I can volunteer and hopefully gain knowledge and skills of working with people who have suffered from a type of trauma. This type of volunteering will help me develop and tune my social work skills. My second goal is to graduate with my BSW and then take about a year off to gain experience. During this time, I plan to investigate if an MSW is something that I would like to obtain. I plan on doing this by working hard in my current classes and in gaining experience through a career and looking how a MSW would benefit me in a social work position. The third goal I have is to work in the field of geriatric social work. I would like to do this by May of 2022. I plan to have gained experience through volunteer and internship experience to help aid me in finding a job in this field. Working with older adults is something I've always been passionate about and would really like to pursue farther. A book I've been reading in class by Cinda Grobman called Days in the Lives of Social Workers has been a great asset in developing my career outlook in different fields and my passion to help others find the resources they need. One of the chapters I've read is called Working with Pregnant Women in Public Health by Alfreda Pascal G. I really enjoyed getting to look at how Alfreda's week flowed. This chapter definitely made me more aware of the different types of social workers in a hospital. I really liked how she and her coworker had their kiss the desk ritual. I definitely think it's important to have something similar to recognize the positive parts in the job, especially when you work in a different field. Another chapter I read was A Neighborhood Youth Center by Amber Daniels. This chapter was a great example of the need for cultural competence on the job. I thought Amber had a very interesting job. It is something I would like to learn more about and look into. This chapter challenged me to get outside of my circle and explore different areas that might not be what I would naturally gravitate to. It was also inspiring to learn more about different cultures. Chapter 23, Partial Hospitalization by Kenneth Smith, was very interesting because I had never heard of day treatment places. I thought it was an interesting form of therapy, and the research he described about the benefits of entering your client's system and becoming an integral part of their lives is a very important aspect of social work. The next chapter I read was Forensic Social Work, Mitigating Death Penalty, Cases in a Capital Defense Unit by Lisa Orloff. What really stood out to me in this chapter was when the author said that the death penalty was the ultimate statement of worthlessness of a human life. That when a jury imposes death penalty, it's concluded that the person's life has no value, sense, or purpose. This is such an important perspective in social work. Everyone's life matters, and no matter what crime has been committed, they should never be worthless. Chapter 43, Geriatric Care Management by Peggy McFarland, was a good chapter. I related to this one a lot when Peggy said that she gets asked why she would want to work with all those old people. I currently work at a nursing home right now, and I get that question a lot from friends and family. When she went on to talk about how rewarding her job is and how the need is so great, it really inspired me to keep working in this field. What stood out in this chapter was the fact that she made a business to aid in what she loves doing. This definitely inspired me to make sure that no matter what I do what I love. And the last chapter I read was Employment Outreach with America's Heroes by Doris Nelson. The empowerment in this chapter really stuck out to me. The social worker only had about 20 minutes each time to work with the client, And after a few sessions, the client was able to find a job. In the way she wrote the chapter, you can tell that the client felt empowered after working with the social worker. This is a skill that is really useful in the social work field and one that I would like to practice and get better at. Reading this book was definitely worthwhile. It helped me develop my understanding of different fields and options that are available to take in the social work field and how different values and skills are applied. Next, I've watched 6 social work interviews, and these helped me learn about different types of jobs social workers can obtain. The first one I watched was about Heather. She's a sex offender therapist. I thought that Heather had a very interesting job. Working with sexual abuse victims is something I've always been interested in, and it was definitely a different perspective than what I had had. I liked the idea that she is helping the ones that most people wouldn't want to help, the sex offenders. I felt really inspired to look more into this. The second person that I watched the interview was Stephanie. She works with children and families. Her video was interesting for me because I have always said I didn't want to work primarily with children. But her video piqued my interest, and I definitely want to explore that side of social work more. I really liked what she said about being open to where the social work field is taking you instead of trying to plan out everything, because I'm definitely a planner, so this was a good tip. The next one, Jessica, she's a community organizer and consultant. I really enjoyed her video and liked the idea of finding the root cause and finding out why these are the conditions we are seeing. I also like that this type of career means you get to tell other people what and why they do what they do and why people should care. I definitely think this is an important aspect that can be used in all areas of social work. Next, Kelly, she works in benefits and service coordination. I really enjoyed hearing her talk about advocating for her clients and their needs. I thought it was interesting when she said she works more with the other professionals than with clients. I had always thought that social work was working mainly with clients, but I liked the idea of also working primarily with other professionals. It was definitely something interesting to look at and hear. Next is Erin. She's social work and research with older adults. Working with older adults is something that has always interested me and still does. Whenever I thought of social work with older adults, I always thought of social workers in the nursing home. I like the idea that she has incorporated research into her job and thought it was an interesting route to take. And lastly, Amar, the SLU career counselor. His job I thought was a little out of the box for a social work degree, but I really enjoyed listening to how much he loved his job and that it is really a team approach. Overall, it was really useful to watch these interviews because they gave me a lot of good tips and advice of navigating the social work field. I also found some different types of social work that I might be interested in looking into or pursuing. And my final conclusions. Watching the interview and reading the chapters gave me a broader view of different types of jobs that are out there and piqued my interest in some different fields I had never thought of looking more into, like child welfare and working with the abuse victims. I think it reinforced the importance of a social worker and their role and just how much different ways there is to engage and help the community. What I found most essential while completing this assignment was a direct application I saw of the different theories and the principles applied to their everyday work. I also think it made me more aware that I am too focused in one area and would like to get more experience in other areas to grow my knowledge and understanding of different groups of people. Thank you.